Hi, I'm Harry. I'm 24. This is my VW Transporter T6.1 I've turned into my dream mountain bike camper van. If you've seen any of my videos before, you'll know this van. This is what I've been working on over the last 2 years to turn an old panel van into my dream mountain bike camper so I can travel all around Europe and ride my bike and have some fun with it. But I've had an idea for a new series on the channel. Along with my interest in mountain bikes and van, I've always loved cars as well, and that has been my true passion from the start. And I want to make a series where I'm going to do build breakdowns. This is where I talk to a range of people about their cars and their builds and give you a bit of an insight into all the different builds which are happening up and down the country. So let's start with a build breakdown of my camper van. Thought it was a good place to start, so we may as well go from here. I don't actually know what got me first interested in cars. I've just always been into them. It's one of those things where I've always really liked them. My family will always tell me stories of how I used to walk up and down the street naming the cars when I was a young kid, and it's just stemmed from there really. There's no one part which has always made me think, yes, I love cars. Growing up in the early 2000s, rally was very, very prominent. When I was growing up, you had Petter Solberg and Sebastian Loeb battling out for the World Rally Championship, and this got me hooked. I loved the rally cars of that era. I loved all that sort of racing, and when I went to watch the rally in 2013, that just made me fall in love with it even more. So I think that is what has really fueled my passion for cars. Seeing the rally cars, seeing cars which you see on the street as everyday cars, doing rally stages just really made me interested, and that's what I love, and I still love rally for that reason to this day. Yes, the cars in the new era looking more and more modified compared to how they did back in 2004, 2005, but they're still everyday cars battling it out on the rally track, and that is what I love. And there's one car which will still always stick out my mind from that, and that is the 2004 Subaru Impreza WRX STI. I absolutely adore that car. It was all over my room. I had posters of it everywhere, and to this day I still love that car. And I think this was all stemmed because I spent quite a bit of my childhood playing WRC 2003 on the PlayStation 2. It was quite an old game then when I was playing it. I was probably playing it in 2006, 2007, but it was such a great game. I'll always remember just driving the Subaru along the rally tracks in Monte Carlo and then all the other courses. It was always Monte Carlo which sticks out in my head. So I've owned quite a few cars since passing my test back in 2017, but I've never actually modified a car. This van is the first car where I've done work on and thought, yeah, let's make it my own. All the other cars I've just owned and enjoyed really. I've never really worked on them till I got this. My first car, which I got when I passed my test, was a 2013 Suzuki Swift Sport, and I adored this car. It was one of the best cars I've ever had, and it was the best first car ever. Super cheap on insurance, super fun to drive, it looked amazing, it was nice and sporty, and I just loved that car. Since then I owned a 2018 Mini Cooper, a 2019 BMW 218i, a 2020 BMW 218i Grand Coupe, and then a 2021 Mini Cooper S, which I absolutely loved as well. That car was amazing. It drove amazing. It had 200 brake horsepower, which was more than enough. It was just such a fun car to drive. It gripped the road, and it was such a nice car. And then I traded that in for this van, which is a very big change, but I don't regret it. I do really miss having a car, and I do really miss that Mini, but the van, what it's opened up with practicality, traveling around Europe, that sort of stuff, it has made it amazing. And it's also just pushed me a bit more to be able to get into a position where I can have a car like a Mini or something like that, something really fun to drive alongside this, because that would be the perfect setup. So this van I bought back in December 2022. It was a low mileage when I bought it, only had 26,000 miles, and it was a 2020 plate, so only a couple of years old as well. As I said, I traded in my Mini for this van, and then threw up any extra spare cash which I had just to try and get this van just because they were so expensive, and they still are really expensive to buy, especially the VW Transporters. In that period, everyone was still on the big camper van hype, so there was a markup on it, but I don't regret buying it one bit. It's a great van. With it only having 26,000 miles on when I bought it, that means it was low mileage. I mean, it's now nearing 60, but it has not missed a beat, so I can't complain with it one bit. So since about 2013, my dad has always had VW Transporters. He's loved them. He always used to talk about having VW Transporters, and he adored them. And I think that is one of the reasons why I ended up going for a Transporter as well. So he's had quite a few which is modified and done into campers and stuff like that. And I knew the platform from that. I knew how they worked. I'd spent a lot of time in them, so I knew that I liked them. And when you look at all the vans on the market, when it comes to modifying it and making it your own, the VW Transporter is the best one for that. There's so many mods about there. There's so much individualism which can be had with them, and that's what I really liked. I wanted to make this unique, and I wanted to be able to show my creativity and personality within the van, which I think a VW Transporter has allowed me to do. So the van build so far, I wanted to focus on when I first got it, turning it into a camper, as that was what I bought it for at the end of the day. I wanted to be able to throw my bike in the back, travel around and just sleep in it whenever and use it as a camper. So that was my first point of focus. I stripped all the van out. I built a custom bike section at the back to store the bike, as I wanted to have a dirty section and a clean section, and you can see that behind me with the bike there, and then we've got this nice dividing wall into a clean section in the front. So I built that first, so I had somewhere safe and secure to store the bike. I could then build a bed and a kitchen unit, which is just here, and then obviously I'm sat on the bed, it turns into a sofa as well. And then I started doing all the electrics, because I mean, you've got to make it a bit luxury. So I fitted all the spotlights, I did a full 12-volt electric system, including a fridge and a jet wash, which is in the back. All the van has been fully sound deadened and insulated throughout, just so it holds some warmth. I mean, it's about 4 or 5 degrees outside, and I'm quite warm sat in the van as it is, and it's not moved all morning, which is quite nice. And it also means that when I'm sleeping in it, it's a bit quieter in here. I fitted the side windows, which are on either side, just to add a bit of light and to make it look less like a panel van really, just to show that it is a camper, so people aren't trying to break in and steal all my tools. And then once I've got the camper van side sorted, which is pretty much there now, there's a couple of minor tweaks which I need to make, which you'll see in upcoming videos, but from a camper van side, it's all there. So once that was all sorted, I could then move on with modifying the outside, which you'll have seen in the last few videos I've started to do now, and that is with lowering the suspension. That was a must, because I think these vans look amazing when they're slammed to the ground. I didn't want to go air, well I do want to go air, but I couldn't afford air, so that's why I've gone coilovers for now, with air to come at a later date. But yeah, modifying it all and making it look how I wanted, and making it look what I expected a van and what I visioned when I first got the panel van, and it is slowly starting to get there, with plenty more to come. So I absolutely love how versatile this van is, and how it can be used for anything really. It can go anywhere, even with as low as it is now. Yes, it's made it a little bit less practical on some of the rough mountain bike car parks, but I've not had a single issue yet. I've been able to take it everywhere I want to. I can park up somewhere, I can sleep in it. If I'm hungry, I've got food in it, I can cook straight away. If I ever just get back from a ride and I fancy a cup of tea, I can make one, all that sort of stuff. It's a home on wheels, which is what it's designed to be, and it's what it's there for. I also love how it looks, which may sound surprising, as it does still look like a panel van, but I love the commercial look on the steel wheels, and especially with it being low steel wheels, I love that, and I think it looks mega as it is. And a new set of wheels, keeping with the steel wheel vibe, will really sort the van out, and I think that'll change everything. I want to finish sorting the outside of the van and the cabin. I really want to get this van how I imagined it to look on the outside, which is getting there slowly, but there's quite a few things more which I need to do, such as wheels and just a few finishing touches, just to make it look subtly different from your average commercial panel van. I also want to finish the inside, which is one area which I've really been focusing on recently, as you'll have seen in my last few videos where I've been dyeing all the interior trim. So I have settled on some wheels for the van. I know which ones I want and I know what I'm going to go for, so now it just comes the time of purchasing them. And I can't wait to show you them when I have bought them. Also with the rest of the van, in the future, but not the near future, in the far future, I would like to redo all the interior. When I first set out to this was just a concept idea. I'd not seen anyone do a setup like what I have done here. So it was very much build and try and see what happens. So everything which I've made was sort of like, let's build it and see what happens. Let's try it. And now that I've proved that the concept works, I would like to rebuild it in the same layout and the same form, just with all nice CNC cut bits of wood and ply and everything like that, just to make it look really smart. I think the planned work to the cabin is going to really set the van off and make it stand out, and I want the interior, or I want the back of the van to be to the same high standards which the front of the van's going to be. So I think once we've done the cabin and once we've done the outside, I think we're going to redo all the inside just to make it look that little bit nicer, a little bit more refined than what it is at the minute, but keeping the same layout and the same practicality because it works so well as a van at the minute. I do really hope to get a car again soon. As I said, I absolutely loved having a car, and I do miss having a car because I love driving. I find driving so fun, and especially on a nice summer's day on a country B road, just being able to go out for a drive, it clears your head, changes your mood, and I absolutely love it. So I would love to get a car for that reason again, as this is fine to drive, but it's a van, so it's not the most fun thing to drive in the world. When it comes to a car, I don't know what I'm going to get yet. There's still plenty which I can think of. As I said, I would love a Subaru, and that is very much on my radar at the minute. That's what I am aiming to try and get. So hopefully one of those will come up at the right price range at the minute. But we'll have to see what happens over the next year or so. I'd also wouldn't mind getting an old car if I was going to get a car. Obviously, an old car now could be a 2003 Subaru, I'd categorise as an old car, but an old BMW, like an E39 5 Series, an E36 3 Series, something like that, something which I can really show my creativity and have a project which I can just work on and just really throw myself into and play around with as much as I want and not have to worry about it running at the end of the day. Something which I can keep on the drive or in a garage and work on and make it the best of what I think I can produce. I'd love to do that, so hopefully you'll see that on the channel sometime soon. And that is everything. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Bit of a different concept. Let me know what you think. Do you want to see more build breakdowns? I've got a few people who I've been in touch with who we can try and set up some build breakdowns with, so let me know if you want to see them. I've really enjoyed. I think it'd be a really good concept to do something like this because it shows loads of different perspectives of the automotive industry. And as I said, my passion is the automotive industry. I love cars and I love everything like that. So I know I've been very much about building a mountain bike camper van, but my true passion is cars and I want to start getting more work around that. So I think doing something like this is really going to be a good thing for the channel, but let me know what you think. Thank you ever so much for watching. If you have enjoyed the video, please like it. Don't forget to subscribe and go and check out my build series on this van. You really don't want to miss what we have planned coming up. See you next time.